Toon Marty is a Canadian cartoon created by these fine people, whose names I don't want to butcher. Do I look like the villain from Word Girl? No, I make videos about cartoons on the internet. The show aired on May 1st, 2017, and ended its 20-episode season-long run on May 26th of the same year. That's only a matter of weeks. It was later picked up by Nickelodeon to air in Europe and Latin America. This is pretty evident by the language on this Toon Marty Instagram. It seems the re-uploads on YouTube come from Nick as well. So what could a show called Toon Marty be about? If you guess Marty, you're sharp. The log line for the show goes as follows. Marty, the mascot of Toon Mart, becomes alive when a billboard is hit by lightning. Together, he and his friend Bernie have fun in Toonville under the supervision of Marty's boss, Jack. One of the main characters of the show is of course Marty, the mascot of the Mart, and our focal point for most of the shenanigans that happen outside of the store. Marty is a cartoon boy to the highest degree, with stretchy features, loony expressions, invulnerable to real pain, and only owning one pair of clothes. Marty's often accompanied by his best friend Bernie, the lovable companion, annoying, large, powerful, and kind of dumb. Where have we seen this before? We then have Holly, sandy cheeks in robot form, and less cool. However, she is the most level-headed of the group, so there's that. It's because she's got an algorithm for problem solving, so she's kind of cheating. There's also Jack, the boss of the Toon Mart. He is the most modest mole you'll ever have the joy of meeting. He's kind enough to run the most essential business in the town. The Toon Mart is a place where all toons go to buy things necessary for the day. Bread, water, chips, salsa, and a Glock. What do you mean that's not essential? Then why can I get it at a Walmart? We also have Suki, the anime girl of the group, as well as the unfortunate love interest for this two-dimensional menace. I like her addition to the group as a different form of animation, like a different type of toon in this town full of alternate cartoon styles. I just wish she wasn't the only variation. I also wish her only substantial substance to a scene wasn't just a reference to an anime trope, or a surface-level romantic trope that has been reiterated time and time again in cartoons. Not to mention, she looks like a dumbed-down version of Star from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. This is a much prettier and better show. If you're looking for a more story-driven experience and excellent use of colors, check that out. However, one core element Suki provides is that she has a poodle named Lady Strawberry Blossom, who is not a fan of Marty, so that's a big plus for me. Lastly, there's Punchy, who is the resident bully, and I suppose, given his circumstances, I too would attack the people around me if I couldn't get my hair out of my face. All things considered, the fan base for the show seems pretty strong. I mean, it has to be if someone is willing to make AMVs for it. And throughout this short review, you'll hear some of my feelings about the show, but nothing could sum it up more than this, a review from quite a wise and critical mind.
Toon Marty? More like stupid Marty. This show is so stupid and boring, and the episodes are so cringy, and every time this show is on, I always turn on another channel because of how stupid this show is.
So we open with a horrifying attack on the anime girl walking her dog, pursued by a werewolf. I don't think this ever gets explained actually. But before we can question much, Marty wakes up with these.
Torn clothes? Ruining in my sleep? Full moon?
And of course, this must mean
I'm a terrifying, rough and tough werewolf! Ooh.
or that you're just not clean and lost. So he flexes his new identity to his friends, and we get a whole new persona change. But not before a delivery straight to the face. Inside this package was a very quiet mayoral goat who luckily made his own air holes because the sender definitely forgot to. So if you couldn't tell by Marty's facial expressions, he's not very happy about this. This brick wall of a boy is pissed that Marty's got an award. And unfortunately, he can't count either because Marty has over 10 of these, at least. This guy also just like kills a unicorn, I'm sure.
It's okay. I'm okay.
I mean, that's pretty hardcore and evil, and definitely not the act of someone who is lashing out due to their clear inability to articulate their feelings effectively. This is the perfect chance for Marty to show that he isn't a cute chump. Marty challenges him to a fight at midnight, because that's when the cool people do it, but none of that is really taken seriously because of the aforementioned award.
You've been named the cutest tune in Toonville. It's like you get...
Unfortunately, Marty is hellbent on proving he isn't the cutest. But I gotta say, if Marty is the cutest thing in your town, you have a pretty ugly town. Kirby is a cute design, Isabelle, hell, even Toad. But Marty? So, in the woods, Marty brings his friends to record his transformation. If this is anything like Vampire Diaries, they should move away. So the metamorphosis commences and Marty is a
Poodle! Okay, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen!
and knowing their friend will be devastated by this truth, they decide to make up a different truth with some good old editing and movie magic. But of course, they play with him first because he's a puppy, come on.
He's going to be devastated if he finds out he's not a werewolf.
We just don't tell him. The omission lie, one of my faves.
I could probably edit some footage to make him look kinda scary. Maybe?
Question, could we just play with him for a little while first?
Without a doubt.
I also like the use of color here, by the way, to avoid making something horrific for the kiddos watching television.
Just, jazzing it up!
I'm impatient!
I tried to paste Marty's face on a real wolf eating a gazelle, but it's even cuter.
Aww. Try adding some blood. He's not toughable!
They just use the color red because red is the most horrifying color of them all. So to distract Marty while they frantically try to make this menace scary, they have him retell his transformation backstory. We see Marty working out when he is visited by a ladybug who takes a tiny crap on his nose. Outside, Marty meets with his girl crush Suki and her poodle, a poodle that despises him and does this.
Excuse me while I go over there and do something macho. It hurts. It hurts so bad.
And Suki, the owner, doesn't even try to make it better, she just gives this face. That incident could potentially end in a lawsuit, dumbass. If Marty wasn't so down bad for her, he could get himself a fat check through the legal system. But also, what could Marty have done to piss off a pink poodle that much? Perhaps the pink ones are the more aggressive ones you gotta watch out for. Or maybe Lady Strawberry Blossom could tell he was a benefactor of a rigged election because this horrifying adorable poodle is by far a way cuter design than this Looney Tunes knockoff. So, in an attempt to throw Marty off the scent, they destroy the whole system.
We had to, Marty. It was, just too scary.
Better to keep lying and coming up with excuses than to be honest. One of those is realistic, you know. It's the lying one. So, Brickhouse comes through again to reassert his challenge. I don't know how he found them, but he did. And Holly makes a good point.
Why do you hate cute things so much? It's weird.
It is incredibly weird to dislike cute things. Red flag. Like look at him. How could you hate him? God, and then he critically injures another unicorn. I'm sorry, that's actually the same unicorn that also managed to stumble into this building and just managed to be in the crossfires of all this. I'm sorry. Someone's gotta arrest him. Where's the justice?
Alright, that one stings.
So the friends finally buckle and they spill the beans, but Marty is drowning in his denial.
You didn't exactly turn into a werewolf. You turned...
Into a poodle, an adorable poodle, not a werewolf, poodle. It was so cute, I thought I was gonna puke, and then I did. Punchy's gonna murder you!
You two, so predictable.
The fight is set to begin, and Cobblestone Head has made a pretty picture of his victim. He's like Picasso and Sugar Ray Robinson mushed together with a slab of granite. Marty transforms, and due to this weird celestial body,
It's a Swiss cheese moon tonight.
he retains his usual thoughts despite the transformation, and in a pretty funny visual gag, he realizes the truth.
I don't feel very menacing. Holy poodle burning Tiny Man. You guys weren't lying. It's horrible.
Also, Suki is around and exclaims with joy she was smart enough not to bring her Poodle around civilians this time. Poodle Marty flails about hoping to sedate his enemy with pity. But instead, this brings about a deeply buried traumatic memory within the Cinderblock's rock-filled head.
You look just like Mr. Banjo Pants.
You had a poodle?
Only the best poodle ever, but you ran away to join the circus, leaving me all alone.
That's why you hate cute things. Your poodle broke your heart.
It's also why I hate the circus. Oh, Mr. Banjo Pants used to do that. So cute. No!
Aw, that's why he despises cute things. Because of trauma. It's always trauma. His friends, seeing this hole in the wall, this fracture in the boulder, this break in defense, they tell Marty to use his cuteness as an advantage.
You're right. He's shaking like a leaf. It doesn't matter what kind of werepoodle I am. I'm still a tough werepoodle. Arr! Oh, well.
That's not exactly what I meant.
Rebel in my presence. Arr!
Stop. Bad, Marty. Bad.
It's working.
Lick them lashes. Meanly.
Close your belly. No one can resist your super tough belly.
I can't. Oh, Mr. Banjo Pants. Why'd you run away? Why?
I want to look away, but I can't.
Awkward.
However, it's enough to deliver a devastating KO, proving that the mass weaponization of cuteness is a possibility and something that should be explored. So after losing this fight, Punchy's walking home when he hears a stick break in the distance. Someone is watching him. Someone is seeking vengeance.
Who's there? Is someone there? I'm Punchy McKnuckles.
Punchy was never seen again. Though this episode is a roller coaster ride that I desperately want to get off of, I found a pretty significant message hidden under the surface. The dangers of adopting a wolf mentality when you're a poodle, and the benefits of accepting who you are. The pattern of people having to portray a particular persona in order to feel secure in a certain space has been going on in societies forever, whether that's concerning race, sexuality, culture, or gender. Today, I want to focus on this little charade in terms of masculinity, because that's the one I'm most familiar with, particularly the ever so pervasive form of masculinity we see so much of today. That consists of algorithms that track your potential to find a mate based on how good looking you are, the hatred of women, fascination with being bulkier than the Hulk in order to feel competent, needing a six-figure job to be respected, a demand to provide everything for your household without help or you're less than, and the weird semen stuff. All this pseudoscience bullshit pushes this false hierarchy of alpha male types and omegas or betas or whatever type of man you want to choose to be, when the study that brought about all these unnecessary complications concerning alphas and wolf packs wasn't saying that at all. It's not about the wolf that triumphs above all the rest. It's about who is the oldest and has a bunch of kids. It's about who's the mommy or daddy. And the majority of people who buy into this thinking are displaying terminal fatherless behavior. And the next thing you know, you're buying into D&D archetypes for what type of dudes you can be. There's a lot of free thinking and individuality going on here. What this episode reinforces is that you cannot choose which one of those archetypes you will be, if it's not who you are. If you're a werepoodle, you can't strut like a werewolf. You can work on yourself for sure. In fact, you should always be working on yourself to be better than you were the day before, even taking the positive traits of those you admire to help discover yourself. But some traits can't be imitated, at least not forever, unless you're willing to risk losing your own identity in the process, such as wealth, outrageous attitudes towards the opposite sex, being a jerk, being a nice guy, being a grifter. You can totally force yourself into being something you aren't. Many people have done it before, but be prepared to be embarrassed when you meet up against someone who actually has those traits and is able to see right through you and devour your persona from the inside out. And of course, as mentioned before, that's not to say that you can't work on yourself and adapt traits that you like in other people to yourself in your own way. I feel like we're all collections of the stuff we watch, listen to, and experience, as well as the people we interact with. There are even elements in the hyper-masculine internet space that I deeply appreciate, such as the focus on physical and mental health, particularly the emphasis on hitting the gym to feel better and good about yourself. Although on the mental health front, there seems to be a few dots not connecting.
You actually remember turning into a werewolf?
Not exactly. But I do know how to connect the dots, Holly.
Do you? Are you sure about that?
Come on! You know I'm dyslexic!
But above all, the lesson is be authentic to yourself. Be open to new ideas. The episode tells us that trying to fit into an archetype when you're clearly much more than that is a foolish decision. The episode reinforces that you choose how those elements that make up your persona will affect you. We even see that through the reveal when Marty realizes he's a poodle and not a werewolf. All this time he thought he was a dangerous dog of a guy, when in actuality, he was an obnoxiously adorable dog of a guy. We even see how his insecurity in his public persona causes him to want to get into a tussle with Punch over there. Those are insecurities that people struggle with all the time. Body image, for example, is something a lot of people struggle with across gender lines. There are insecurities about particular hobbies. I mean, some hobbies like watching Zula Patroller fall asleep should be kept a secret. When dating, these insecurities and fears can be even more heightened. Dudes have to deal with being rejected on Tinder because their facial proportions don't add up to Yahtzee, while women have to worry about being killed if the date doesn't go well. See? Under patriarchy, everyone suffers. But in my opinion, one of the scariest and toughest things to do is to be unabashedly yourself, to be comfortable with vulnerability, and rationally adapt to whatever life brings at you. So what if you have acne? So what if you have a big gut? So what if you have a tiny tummy? So what if you have heterochromia? So what if you can't grow facial hair? So what if you grow too much? So what if you have a big forehead? So what if you don't like your voice? So what if you don't like your artwork? So what if you have a lifeless stare? Those things are additions to you. They don't define you. That's up to you to do. And there are people who like those things. And oftentimes you're not the only one who suffer with those problems. Because not everyone is looking for a JoJo character. And those guys are weird.
Oh, ジョータロウくん。レロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロ あジョジョ、そのチェリー食べないのか？がっつくようだが僕の好物なんだ。くれないか？ああ、サンキュー。レロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレロレ
You shouldn't strut like a poodle, you're a giraffe. Own what you got, and embrace the things that make you unique. And being kind seems to be in a really heavy decline. Maybe adopt that unique trait to your roster of many. And that isn't to say that if you're an asshole, you should stay an asshole. No, you should be the best you that you can be. And if just being an asshole is the best you that you can be, I'm really sorry for you. You may not have a lot to offer this world, but you would be a really great senator. The point is that poodle-like behaviors aren't a flaw, it's an asset because you make it an asset. If you let others define you, you'll never discover who you really are. Besides, nothing bothers a roided up masculine macho man like a person who identifies as a male being comfortable with their femininity. And if nothing, that should inspire you to be more poodle-like. More than anything, be true to yourself. Experiment. Figure out what works for you and know that the metamorphosis process can be ongoing. For a caterpillar, becoming a butterfly is the final act of its transformation play. But surely, that can't be where the majestic creature stops growing. Those experiences still shape this fully matured insect. I would even say that they continue learning even post-transformation, until they are eaten by a bird. See ya.
Watashi